Hey guys, it's Brett here. I wanted to appear a little bit differently for you guys. I know our very first video that we uploaded, I was all decked out in hair and makeup, which I've still got my makeup going, gotta have some gloss and some contouring and all that fun stuff. But I wanted to actually present myself as a male, which I am still a male, and I am actually getting ready to go to the doctor today. It is my first doctor's appointment to really engage and explore hormone and other means for becoming more feminine, which they call those androgen blockers. So I'm really excited to report back to you guys what I find out and how this process is really going to take off and evolve. It's been a crazy past week and a half, and I'm so sorry we haven't had the chance to post a video. Lauren's not even here with me right now, so this is my first single video alone. But I just wanted to at least update you guys and kind of let you guys know what was going on in life. Work's crazy, so I just recently got a new dog named Dexter. He's an 8-month-old pugapoo, and he's the most precious thing. I'll have to post some pictures at the end of the video. And then I've been playing around with makeup a lot and really playing around with hair and trying to get the whole femininity aspect down so I can really start feeling more confident about making public appearances, appearing more feminine. So I'm really excited about the progress that's happening. I have some great friends and a great support group that's been standing by my side. So it's been an amazing, incredible time. I finally decided to make the plunge and come out to my dad, and I've learned over the course of this last couple of months that it's so important to really find the right time to sit down with those that you love and to be completely open, honest, and transparent about who you are inside and why you feel a certain way. I had the conversation with my dad last week, and it went so smooth. It was so amazing, and I couldn't be more blessed. But for some of you out there, I know that parents and family and friends aren't going to take it as well, and that's why I'm here. There's always going to be skepticism. There's always going to be people that don't understand to the fullest extent, or they might say that they understand to your face and then completely turn around and backstab you, and for me, you have to make sure that you're ready for this process to happen, because a lot of people say that transition is a process, which I completely agree with. But once you fully commit to transition, things typically start flying by. I can remember just a few weeks ago, I was so excited about my doctor's appointment for today and thinking, man, this is going to, take forever to finally come about and happen. But it's already here, and I'm so excited. It's probably one of the most exciting times in my life right now, because I am seeing gradual change happen within myself. I'm starting to really become conscious of vocal feminization. I'm really starting to practice on my own, and I'll create a separate video once I feel that this practice that I'm using is actually starting to work, because I want you guys to have an understanding of how I'm going about doing this. My hair's getting a lot longer. I know it's kind of hard to tell in the video, but it's starting to get length, and so I'm at this really awkward stage, I feel like, right now, with trying to allow my hair to really come in a manner that's comfortable to me, because I feel like every day is a struggle. I used to spend so much time on my makeup, and hair was always so fast for me because it was a lot shorter. It was buzzed on the sides, and I didn't have all this length to have to worry about. But now that it's actually a lot longer, I'm finding that I'm having to constantly find different product to accompany or that actually goes well with my hair, and I'm having to spend more time blow drying and flat ironing and certain things like that. So it's definitely taking a toll from a self-conscious standpoint, but I'm withering through it. And really, I'm finding that for hair that is about medium size, that if you find a good gelade product or you find a good paste product, that these items typically work the best. And what I'm typically doing right now is getting out of the shower, doing my full face. I always walk around with a full face. That's always been a part of me ever since middle school, and I will never ever change wearing makeup. There's absolutely no way. So I always get out of the shower, put on a face, rub some of that paste or rub some of that gel. Sometimes I'll mix the two together if I notice that my hair is extremely dry, because we have crazy wind out here in Kansas, so it's always typically dry. Or if I'm flat ironing, you know, my hair starts frying literally, and that drives me nuts. But so I usually will spend a little bit more time. I make sure that my hair is wet, take the paste, take the gel, combine the two, whatever your preference is. You'll adapt to your own style and really just rub it through that wet hair. And then I take a blow dryer and I put it on high heat and I just go to town. And you know, this finished product for me is probably one of the better finished products that I've had this week, just because my hair it's getting thicker and it's just feeling just different, and I don't know how to explain it, and I know that this is definitely part of the transition. I'm really excited to see how the hormone hormone therapy is actually going to thicken my hair and make it grow faster, is what I've heard through the grapevine, so I'm really excited for that. I'm still huge on wigs because they're so full, they're so beautiful, and if you find the right wig, you can really do a lot with it as far as styling it. And my particular wig that I was in the last video actually will allow heat, so I can curl it, I can flat iron it, I can blow dry it, I can wash it. So I recommend that if you're somewhat in that beginning phase of transitioning, that you really consider going out and looking at wigs, because even if you haven't really stepped out into society as a female, you can at least start dressing at home, and you can start playing with your makeup, and you can start getting used to seeing yourself in a different light. I know it's been huge for me. I typically come home, I'll do my full face of makeup, I'll smear on my eyeliner, I'll, you know, contour differently and things of that nature, which I'll do a full tutorial at some point once I get more confident myself about makeup routine. You know, and focusing on making the lip bigger and, you know, just softening the jawbone until, you know, obviously facial feminization surgery for me is huge on my list, just to soften this jawbone. But I'm also conscious that I have to wait a little bit before the hormone therapy can start taking place and really setting into the body. So, you know, that will come in time. So there's definitely ways that you can get creative with makeup in the meantime. So just play around with it, you know, develop your own style, start dressing as a female if you are one that doesn't have any female clothes, or you don't have any high heels or any wedges, which, by the way, just to back up a little bit, I'd probably recommend starting out with some wedges before you actually go into full-blown high heels, because it does take a little bit of getting used to build up those calf muscles. But boy, once you have those calf muscles built up, ooh, they are sexy. So just be conscious of that. I would probably recommend going with a set of wedges. And typically, when you are going from male to female shoes, you typically want to take your size as a male and bump it up 2 to 2.5 sizes. I've noticed that there's certain brands of shoes that I can go up to a size 11 because my foot size is a size 9, whereas there's other brands of heels that I have to bump up, you know, to 11.5. So it sounds like bozo shoes. It's so crazy, and I have the hardest time finding them. I've done a lot of online shopping. Amazon's been huge. They've been my best friend. We have a place called Shoe Carnival here that's been great as well, because they typically have almost every size. So I've literally been able to stroll in there and find some cute heels and wedges and even flats, which, girl, I'll tell you right now, I'm not going to be huge on flats to start out. I'm going all out. You will always see me in a heel. Which I'm so excited about. Oh my gosh. Anyways, so that's that. And then I just wanted to spend a little bit of time kind of talking about this transition from the hormone therapy standpoint. I made some notes, and I just kind of wanted to share the information that was sent to me in a welcome packet from my doctor's office, which I'm a little bit nervous to go to the doctor's today because this will be my first time, obviously. And when I was on the phone and I'm, you know, chatting away with this lady trying to make small conversation, she says, okay, I need to stop you right there, and I just need to be 110% honest with you. There is a chance that there will be protesters outside of our office, so if that happens, just go ahead, turn your cheek the other way, don't think anything of it, and walk in. So I started thinking to myself, okay, where exactly is this place? Well, come to find out that this is a full-fledged women's clinic in Wichita, Kansas, and they're doing amazing work. And I'm not getting into the political aspect or the religious aspect of this, but you know, they offer a variety of services for women's reproductive health, transgender, and just an array of things. And there was actually a doctor that was shot dead outside of his office. Actually, no, I take that back. The doctor that worked at this office, I'm sure you've heard, I'm sure you can Google abortion doctor in Wichita, Kansas, and find that he was actually shot in his church. From a gentleman that drove down from another state because he didn't believe in the abortion practice, didn't believe in everything else that this office stood for. So it's a little bit alarming. So keep your fingers crossed, keep your eyes, toes, fingers, everything crossed for me that everything will go okay today. I'm not worried, but it's crossed my mind like, oh my gosh, I hope nothing happens, but that's neither here nor there. So in this new welcome packet, they kind of listed out information about hormone therapy and the effects that it would have all the way from physical, emotional, sexual, reproductive, etc. And so I just made some general notes to kind of tell anybody that's considering hormone therapy what to kind of expect and just to have a heads up. So going into this, because as I said before in the previous video, there was really no step-by-step guide. There was, there's really no information about the beginning phases of really researching hormone therapy and androgen blockers, which I believe are the same thing as testosterone blockers, so you would start appearing more feminine. So I just kind of wanted to take a little bit of time to review some of the information that I've received and just to be transparent with you. That way, if I say something and you guys have a question and you're like, oh, maybe I should have him ask this, then of course I'll ask for you, girl. Don't ever be scared to post a comment, send out an email, or just, whatever, however you want to get in contact with me, make sure you're asking away because there's so many more questions that I have even just from this packet, because this is a huge life-impacting, life-altering event. So we are all in this together. So they listed out that first and foremost, everyone's rate of change is different. They compare this to puberty. Certain women and men go through puberty differently, so it really depends on the age of your body, how well you've taken care of your body, and really genetics. So they start out with physical changes, and they say that the skin's going to start becoming a lot more dry and thin. So, I'm probably going to get caught when I'm out dancing on the dance floor and bleed out, which is fine. It's cool. No, I'm just kidding. But seriously, so blood's going to start becoming thinner. And then pores are going to start becoming a lot smaller, which is great because my pores are so enlarged. I don't know if you can tell, but I have large pores, and that's probably one of the biggest things that I'm excited about because it's going to cut down on oil production. Now, I know that everybody always says that having oily skin is a blessing in disguise because you end up staying younger as you age, which, is great, but for right now, I definitely want to get rid of some of this excess oil that I have because it's crazy. And, I used to break out when I was younger, so just kind of seeing those pores minimized and cutting down on the oil production is going to be exciting to me, and I'm hoping that that even helps breakouts and things like that. They also say that within a few weeks of starting hormone therapy, that buds will start developing. So essentially your breasts are starting to come in. Now, they typically say that a transgender woman can take years for the full effect to come about, but they typically say that within a few weeks, buds start developing and that they start becoming extremely sensitive, especially to touch. So that's going to be really interesting to see how fast they fill out, what kind of size. They usually say that an A or a B for a transgender woman is what can be expected. So, that's really exciting. I'm not so excited about experiencing that really, Lauren was telling me that I'm basically going to have pain and things like that, but it's not like debilitating. It's not going to prevent you from obviously putting on a shirt. There is going to be uncomfortableness, which can be expected, and so the doctors say that a lot of times you're going to want to be conscious of starting to probably wear a bra. And so I'm thinking in my mind, okay, I haven't really been confident enough yet, and I haven't really perfected my makeup enough to feel confident enough to really want to step out in public. So the fact that I'm already going to be developing buds that are going to be really sensitive that might require a bra, that's a little overwhelming to me because I definitely want to make sure that I'm 110% ready to, step out. And I've put this off for so long that I can hands down tell you that I'm ready, but I just don't know, that I'm 100% ready just yet. So it'll be interesting. I might have to go buy some baggier clothes or baggier shirts or something just to accommodate a bra, which thank God it's going to be like the smallest of small. I'll probably have to shop in teenage bra size or something. I don't know how bras work yet. That's something I've got to figure out. That's something that I'll definitely model for you, in the coming months. So just be ready for that. So, and then they also start saying that weight's going to redistribute around body fat. So fat's going to start collecting more around the hips and the thighs, and it's just going to start being redistributed. So it's going to be interesting to see how that change comes about. If my face is going to slim down, if, certain areas of my body are going to start gaining more weight. I've heard that basically they say that you're working on getting your hourglass figure, girl. So that's exciting because God knows I have that badonkadonk, and I'm ready to start showing that off, and I want to see that aspect enhanced, and I want to start feeling more feminine. So, in appearance. So that's really exciting. They say that your arms and legs are going to start having more definition, and that it's going to be a lot smoother in appearance. So that takes us into the hair, which they say is going to decrease tremendously. It's probably not all going to go away. I mean, I have facial hair that I still have to shave every morning, but it's not going to probably grow as fast. They say it's going to be a lot thinner. Now, that's not to say that it's all going to go away. They do recommend that you go through laser hair or electrolysis hair removal treatment so you can completely rid of that. So, that's really exciting because I've shaved now. I shave my legs, shave my thighs, and, the backs of my legs and the backs of my thighs and all those pesky places where you get hair, and it usually comes back within a couple of days, so I'm constantly shaving, constantly having to go through that, constant itch after shaving, which is absolutely miserable, but the fact that I might not have to shave as much is really, really exciting to me because I hate taking the time to shave, let's just be honest, which, I wish it was like my arms because I barely have any arm hair, so I'm hoping that, it'll slow down like this and I won't have to shave as much. So fingers crossed to that. From an emotional standpoint, they say that, again, it's like going through puberty. Some people are going to experience more emotional states than others. They just ask that you be conscious and you be wary of the emotional changes and the emotional impacts that you could start having. And then they go through and start talking about your sexual desires. And they basically state that as you're transitioning from male to female, you're going to have a decrease in the number of erections, and which, that is what it is. I guess you pay the price for wanting to be fully who you are, and, I'm not dating anybody right now for the sole purpose of allowing myself to focus 100% on myself during this time, and so I'm thinking, out loud, oh, this is going to be a breeze for me. I'm not going to want, to have sex as much, and, whatever. It is what it is. I'm definitely not going to lie and say that I'm excited that I'm going to decrease in my sexual stamina, but, it comes with the price of transition. So they also go on to say that testicles are going to shrink tremendously, which was really, to think about that, that's really weird to me. So it'll be interesting, and I'll, have to provide an update on that whole process when I experience that. So it'll be interesting to see the shrinkage, but they also go on to notate that that shouldn't have any impact on the transition of going from penis to vagina. So, they say that the same skin and the foreskin's going to be there, so it's not going to, prevent you from getting that beautiful vagina that, you want to show off at some point during transition, which for me personally, that's probably the last thing on my list. I also read that that's a really extensive process. It's probably the most extensive process of the whole transition. So I'm thinking, realistically for me, that's probably going to come in, a set of a year or two, because I really want to focus on making myself look, appear, and perfect everything else so I can start going out in public as my true self as a female. So, like breast augmentation and, shaving this down a little bit, getting lip pumpers. That's really all from my vantage point, that I am focused on right now, because I don't really think that it's going to take a whole tremendous amount of work for me to really appear more feminine, which thank God I've been blessed in that realm. I'll have to post some pictures of myself, working on makeup. I had a friend do my makeup. I'll have to post some pictures at the end of this video that kind of show you that, because she made my lip more full. She really got rid of this chin. She's an amazing makeup artist. So shout out to my friend Naomi. Thank you. So backing up, and then they go into, after the sexual aspect, the sex talk, the birds and the bees, they start talking about reproductive. And they start saying that basically within 3 months, you're basically going to become sterile. So this was huge for me. That whenever I was researching, and I shared this with my dad, this was probably one of the most painstaking thoughts to me when I consider transition, was the aspect of not being able to reproduce. They essentially say that within that 3-month time frame, you can expect to never be able to reproduce your own children. And, you know, I thought about this and I dwelled on this for a long time, because I think a lot of people in general like the thought of having a little mini me run around, like not a mini me, but like having their own mini me run around. And so you start thinking about that, and you start thinking, oh my gosh, I will never be able to have a child that was bared from my own sperm. And that's really something to consider. You know, you have to make sure that you're comfortable with making that choice, that that is the right choice for you, you know, because I did do, you know, and I took it into a little bit further and researched a little bit more, and you can have the option. It's an expensive option, but you can have the option to freeze your sperm, basically, and have a sperm bank hold your sperm until you're ready to reproduce. And it typically ranges from anywhere from $2,000 to $3,000, and it takes a span of 2 to 4 weeks. But ultimately, I decided that I could look past that, because I've always been huge on adoption, and even when I came out as gay, I really never, I guess, sat down to really contemplate children. I know that it will be important to me at one day, and you know, it starts making me get teary-eyed now, because the thought of being a parent is probably the greatest gift in the whole wide world, and I can't wait for that, and I can't wait to experience that with somebody that loves me for me. And you know, just backing up to adoption, there's so many children out there that don't have good homes, that don't have good families, that have an awful life. And I feel like I was put on this earth to make a change and to be a difference maker, and this is just one more step for me to take in a child that is less fortunate and that does not have a good home environment, or might not even have a home at all. And so, you know, I start pumping myself up about that, and I start getting more excited about that, and thinking that, you know what, this isn't as big of an issue as I originally thought it was. So for that aspect, you know, I have learned to cope with that, and you know, I have personally accepted the fact that I will not be able to reproduce, but make sure that that's right for you as well, because you don't want to get through this, because this whole process, and they state this many times through talking with doctors, talking with therapists, that this is an irreversible procedure. This whole transition is irreversible. So if you get down at 2 years down the road and you think, I all of a sudden want to stop doing hormone therapy, you still aren't going to be able to reproduce. Your buds are still going to be there. You're not going to be able to rid those unless you have some, you know, surgical procedure. So just be conscious that everything I'm going over today is basically irreversible, and that's why it's so important for me to review this and talk out loud to you guys about this whole process. And then, you know, they also go in and they start talking about the different types of methods for hormone therapy, and they say that you can take pills, you can take injections and things like that. And me being a pansy, I will safely say that I'm not considering an injection. I would much, as my phone's going off in the background, whatever, but anyway, I would much rather go through this doing like a dissolvable pill or something of that nature, which also carries risks. I mean, if we're being 100% honest right now, this whole process carries risks. So, you know, you can suffer anything from liver damage to blood clots to you know, whatever it might be, strokes. So, you know, really inform yourself, do a lot of intensive research. And I know that it's so easy to be in the mindset that you want this now, you want this to happen ASAP. But I'm telling you, if you do your research and you become informed, it makes you appear so much more calm, it reassures you more, and it's knowledge to fall back on. Maybe you might have somebody approach you and ask you, you know, about certain aspects of the transition that might need pointers, that might need help, you know. So be that person of reason with yourself first and foremost, and make sure that you can accept the risks that are posed with hormone therapy, because, you know, it's something that isn't for everybody, you know. And you have to be 100% conscious and accepting with yourself, and I think it's a huge process to really undergo. So, just make sure that you're conscious. I definitely want to hear your feedback. I want to hear your questions. If you've started hormone therapy, then I definitely want to hear what you have to say about it, and to really start engaging in this conversation. So I'm really excited. Today should be a very interesting day. I've been looking forward to it now for years, and it's just so surreal that it's finally happening. So I definitely want to thank you guys for all of the emails that have flooded our inbox, for all of the support and the love that you've given, and just know that nobody's on this journey alone, and that we are truly all in this together. Whether you are transgender, whether you're gay, whether you're lesbian, whether you're bisexual, there is a spot for everybody within this conversation. So just be open. And I was just backing up to it being a topic of discussion. It's so interesting because here in Wichita, there's very little room for a transgender community. It feels like there's a really small coalition, and I haven't personally reached out to the transgender community yet because it is so small. I'm not 100% sure who to get a hold of, but if you have those resources, I would recommend calling your transgender point of contact within your own city, because a lot of times there are transgendered individuals that meet monthly or have discussions or have guides or resources available. When I used to live in Kansas City, I had all of those resources available. There was a dedicated center to transgendered individuals that would basically walk you through from start to finish, and they have makeup tutorials to help you familiarize yourself better with makeup. They have ways for you to do your hair and things of that nature. So, if the resources are there, they're of course going to be tremendously better in a larger city, but definitely reach out and see what kind of resources are available to you. So with no further ado, and with that being said, I hope everybody has an amazing hump day, and I definitely look forward to letting you know how my doctor's appointment went, and I definitely look forward to taking your questions off of this, whether you comment or you email or you subscribe, and taking questions back to my doctor to ask. So until next time, stay fabulous, guys. Bye.